Hi everyone, this is another quick video from me, Beth Marshall, all about how to use Postman's beta low no code feature Flows to run some security tests. So as we know, as Julia Pottinger spoke about in her brilliant Test Bash UK talk all about next level API automation, something that you can use Postman for or use API testing for is checking the security of APIs. So are the right details used to log in? And if you don't use those details, will you receive the correct response back? So we're going to do that today using Flows. I'll walk you through what I've done here. For a start, I just think it looks really aesthetically very pleasing. Maybe just me, but I think this looks really nice. If you were demoing this to someone that was perhaps unsure about APIs and what they did, this would maybe be a nice way to let them visualize what's happening here. So I've used the create data blocks in order to provide the data that passes through into my API request. I want this request to run 3 times and I want it to run against various different flavors of data. So they're all generating, the important thing is they all generate, I expect them to generate the same response status code, which is 403 forbidden. So if a user has an empty password, if they have an invalid username or an invalid password, you can add as many of these as you wish. You do that by going to the add a block section at the bottom and just adding the create data block. And you go into the, I'll show you inside, you add a record by hitting the add button here. In the field, you overwrite that and type in the field that you're looking for and then add in a string. It's important that you add that in as a string, including the quotation marks, and then when you save it, Postman adds another set of quotation marks so it can actually be used within the flow. The flow itself, if we go in order to use these different variables, it's important that they are stored as variables within the endpoint itself. So go into the body of the data or wherever it is that you're looking and make sure you've saved the various fields that you want to populate with your own data as dynamic by doing this. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to execute this test with this different data. We're just going to send that request. We've specified in the variables that we want to use the variables that we've created in our data. So all of our create data has exactly the same name, field name for those records. So that's really important. So it knows that it's going to bring in the same thing. And our condition, so again, we've done that by adding a block and adding a condition block. The status should be 403. So again, if we can just start typing that, and it should find it for us. So when we go into the condition, we're looking at our record, we're looking at the status. You can see here there's lots of different values that you can check. So let's go for the status code this time, and we want that to be equal to 403. We're going to save that as a string. Oh, sorry. When it's status code, it requires it to be a number. We're going to save that as a number. So Postman does help you out when you're constructing these flows, just to give you those hints on where you might have gone wrong there. So if all of these result in, so it's going to execute this 3 times. It's going to check that the status code is correct. If it is correct, it will pop it into this terminal here. So this essentially means that our test has passed, our check has passed. If for whatever reason this doesn't happen, if you get a 200 when you're not expecting to, that will pop it into a different terminal here. So let's open our terminal, and you can see here that there's currently no data in either of these outputs here. We'll go ahead and start our flow. So you do that by clicking this little orange button at the bottom here and check for those noodle doodles working their magic. The end of the test, everything should go green. That shows the test has been completed. Look at the terminal here. We can see authentication check unsuccessful has nothing in it. Authentication check successful has the three circumstances of the test that we've run through. And if we confirm that in the console here, we can see, I'm going to just clear that so you can see me starting from scratch. 1, 2, 3 times this test has run. Each of those has the different data that we've set. So you can see there that was an empty password, whereas here it's got the wrong password in there. And that's generated the result that we expect. So yeah, I hope this has helped. On to the next one. Thank you.